We
Cool.
are live. Facebook, you have royalty in the house. We have someone, yes, we have someone here who's done comedy in the 70s, from the 70s, right here today. He came up in the San Francisco comedy boom with the likes of Robin Williams and Drew Carey, name a few. He was in the original group of regulars at Catch Rising Star. Yes, sirree. And now he's doing voiceover work. Jimi Celeste is here, you guys. Hi, Jimmy.
Hello, how is everybody?
We're good now that you're here. Tell
Oh,
us
thank you
what
so much, Linda. This is very cool.
this is so cool. This is better, this is better than Hoda Kotb does on the morning show.
I know it is.
So
Hoda.
tell me, what in the world have you been doing all the years of your life? Let's go through it
You know
year by
something? I'm going to
year.
be honest with you guys. Follow me on Instagram, a shameless plug for me. I'm literally putting up my whole life story from like 15 years old up until now, right now. Right now, I've just finished the San Francisco comedy competition, and I'm still not 30 years old yet. I started like from when I was 15. I'm on episode like 115.
Wow.
I'm putting
Holy,
it up at 2 minutes at a shot, 2 minutes and change at a shot, leaving with cliffhangers. So you're getting my whole life story.
and that's going to be on your Instagram page,
It's on
Jimmy?
Instagram right now, Jimi Celeste, at Jimi Celeste. It's on
Wow.
Instagram right now. And I do it every day, pretty much every day.
I have to go start reading it.
Yep, it's a visual. I video myself every day and do it.
Oh my gosh.
I just do videos every day on the streets of New York,
Oh,
walking around, just talking to my phone and my camera and putting it up on Instagram.
so did you grow up in New York City?
No, I grew up in Southern California. I grew up in San Diego. But then at a young age, which will be discovered in my story, I became 15. I decided I wanted to be a hippie. So I started running away from home to be a hippie. And life just kept going, and a lot of things happened in that time.
So
From
can you let
15.
us in on a little bit of the snippets of like what was it like to come up in San Francisco during the Robin Williams era?
It was okay. When I first started trying to do comedy was in Seattle. But this
Really?
has been, and then I went to Hawaii, and this was before there were comedy clubs. And so this is when I would go up and ask bands if I could go up when they took breaks. And needless to say, I would suck. It'd be a rough one. It was a rough one, but I did it. And then in Hawaii, a comedy club opened up. And I was enamored with watching like Steve Martin and Robin Williams on HBO and seeing all that stuff. And like, I didn't have an act for a long time in Hawaii where I kind of just started. And, so I was in Hawaii, this club called Groucho's, a comedy store. That's what they named it. And like people would like get up and leave if they heard my name mentioned because I kind of sucked back in those days. But then all of a sudden one night I decided to start doing props and I became a prop act. I had a bunch of retarded props and I had this shark on the end of a stick. And I started singing Mac the Knife and running around out in the audience like an asshole. And people started liking that. The props worked. So all of a sudden I decided it's time to leave Hawaii and go back to mainland, go to San Francisco. So I went to San Francisco. My first night at the Holy City Zoo, I signed up on the list. This is when you could sign up on lists and you would go on. You didn't have to bring people. You didn't have to pay to go on. Like at the Comedy Store back where I first really performed back in 76, you'd sign the list on a Monday night and come back later and you'd go on. And actually the first night at the Comedy Store ever, I killed. I had no act. I knew not what I was, didn't know what I was doing, but I killed. So I did. Anyway, I get to San Francisco, fast forward, get to San Francisco, my first night there. And I thought it was a really good idea to wear suspenders with buttons on it like Robin Williams did, starting in his hometown club, the club that he was famous at, and run around out in the audience like he did. So, needless to say, I didn't go over that well. The booker, the guy that ran the Holy City Zoo then, kind of frowned on me. I didn't really get good spots after that. So I started burning a lot of bridges initially.
Boy, when I first started comedy all of 6 years ago, I couldn't get the young people to want to listen to anything I said. They'd, go out for a smoke break if I went on stage, right? So I started doing sit-ups during my set, or reading 3x5 cards and then throwing them in the air. I even took my teeth out of my mouth once just to get a
That's
laugh.
cool.
But that's what you do when you're not. What?
I'm almost at the taking my teeth out stage.
So you went to the Holy City Zoo and you burned some bridges, and then you became a regular at Catch a Rising Star.
That's when I got to New York, but mostly as a regular at the Improv, the original Improv on 44th and 9th. But that was a long ways from San Francisco, because San Francisco, I was there for like 7 years.
Wow.
To doing day jobs and working at the clubs every night. And there was a bludgeoning comedy scene back then. There was like the Other Cafe, the Punchline, then there's clubs in North Beach, then this club Cobb's Pub opened up. And like I kind of fucked up with Cobb's Pub. I mean, because like actually the owner of Cobb's Pub was a good friend of mine. The booker was a friend of mine. And the booker really liked my act. And he used to always ask me to come down to Cobb's to perform when they were starting out. But they had no audiences. And I stayed at the Holy City Zoo. Then the woman that was kind of the matron of the Holy City, that booked the Holy City Zoo, kind of the key figure. Everybody adored her. And I burned a bridge with her. Anyway, I'm like, but anyway, she kind of got fired or something and she quit working there. So everybody kind of left the Holy City Zoo. But I stayed there because I figured I'd get more stage time, loyalty to the Holy City Zoo. But everybody started going down to Cobb's. And like the booker of Cobb's, I always call him, go, please come down to the club. We need you down here, because he liked my act. But I go, yeah, sure, okay, I'll be down there. And I would never go down there. I would kind of sit. And then all of a sudden, Cobb's Pub, this radio DJ, this big radio show in San Francisco, started going to Cobb's, started bringing all the comedians on the radio in the day. And all of a sudden, Cobb's became the biggest club in the city. And I had burned that bridge. The booker wouldn't even have anything to do with me anymore. I'd hang out with him and the owner, but he still wouldn't book me. Once in a great while, he'd give me a paid gig. But he just really held the grudge to the end.
Wow.
Still to this day, he won't friend me on Facebook or something. Seriously, he's really petty, kind of like a Trump. But anyway, he's just got really petty. So, but like I'd hang out with him all the time. Like the owner was a good friend of mine, but he didn't do the booking. And I kind of, but anyway, that was like my tumultuous time in San Francisco. I wasn't tumultuous. That's where I learned how to do stand-up. And then I started going on the road. Then I became a road comic, traveling around the country, doing all these little one-nighters. This is when you could do one-nighters everywhere. If a 7-Eleven had a back room and a microphone, they would give you $50, $100 in a hotel room for the night and charge cover, and people would come and see you. And then that's when MTV half-hour comedy hour ruined comedy for everybody.
Tell me about that.
MTV half-hour comedy hour, because people figured, why go out and pay comedy when we could see it on TV?
All right.
An evening at the Improv was also another death to comedy. Because people said, why go out to see comedy when we get it on TV for free?
Wow.
So that's what happened. And then also, too, comedians started popping up like sprouts everywhere. Because it didn't become a job where you were funny. It became a career choice. And then a lot of guys, they learned how to do it, could put together mediocre, but they learned how to sell. They learned how to sell the act, and they started booking themselves around the country. They just learned. All the good salesmen became comedians. So that's what happened with the comedy, the road scene. There's still clubs. People can still go out there and do it, but like in New York now, if you want to do stand-up, You got to go to the open mics. You got to bring people, like bring 5 to 10 people. You got to buy a drink. You got to pay $5 to perform. And what you are is performing in front of a bunch of comedians that are waiting to go on too. So, I mean, this is how it is now. But still, cream rises to the top. People take comedy classes, which is either you're funny or not funny. You go out and learn how to be a comedian. You don't take a comedy class to learn how to be a comedian. Either
No.
you're funny or you're not funny. And then that's what you work on. I mean, it's a lot of work. And but now with Tasso too, you got to build your own scene if you want to make it. Like what woman comedian said something like to Bill Burr, like, how come women comedians aren't making or something? Or they had some, and Bill Burr just said, you have to build your own scene. And that's pretty much what it is. You have to build your own vibe. You have to be your own, like you're doing right now at this talk show. With this, you're building your own thing. This is what you have to do.
Yes.
How it catches on, but it'll eventually catch on. You keep doing the same thing enough, like that Instagram thing I'm doing. I'm doing it every day. I'm consistent with it. Whether it's catching on or blowing up, I don't know, but I'm seeing how my life went. And what I plan on doing with that now is doing a YouTube video and just filming myself performing in the street or just performing my whole life story into a tight half-hour, 40-minute show and putting it on YouTube.
Nice.
You know, and then I'll be able to, there's clubs like in New York that I could perform it at on their stage.
Like a one-man show?
It's a one-man show thing, but I'm building it up like that. And I'll perform it on the streets because I'm good now with video and stuff. Because I was a photographer for many years in New York after I got out of stand-up.
I saw that.
Event
Yeah.
celebrity photographer, working all the red carpets in New York, all the biggest movie premieres, which have died out over the years. And that because movie premieres used to be big.
Yeah.
I mean, really big. But then people didn't want to spend the money for them premieres, and they're just like little cocktail parties after that.
So
And this was a really big movie.
who are your favorite people to have photographed?
I mean, I photographed pretty much anybody you can think of.
Did you have any favorites, or were you especially happy with how a certain
Well, some
photo?
people like Tom Cruise would always be nice to the press. He's always one of the best. Brad Pitt's always, George Clooney's always really nice. Most of the biggest celebrities were always really, and Robin, because I knew him all the time, he was always gracious and he was always a good person to photograph. This was like before he passed, but and I knew him for years from San Francisco.
Yeah.
I mean, most big celebrities are good. There's assholes too, like I won't mention the assholes, but like Bruce Willis. Okay, I mentioned an ass, but some guy. But then on the other side of the coin, I can see like they might be assholes in this regard, but that's because photographers are annoying.
True.
Very, very annoying. Like Alec Baldwin's had. So I mean, the paparazzi on the street, and it just gets to be annoying, even though that's their job to promote their film. Like Leonardo DiCaprio is very nice when he's promoting a film, but if he's just there on his own, it's not part of his project, and he doesn't really care about being photographed. And he's really nice about it too. So
Awesome. What years were you a photographer? From what year to what year?
Probably up until a couple years ago, from about 20 years, early 90s? No, around 2000, about 2000 up to now.
Did you ever get to see Audrey Hepburn?
No, I wasn't there, but I did go up to Canada once to photograph Sophia Loren.
You did?
That was a big deal.
What was that like?
It wasn't nothing. I mean, she didn't really, but this was back in the days too. Now, this was like right in the beginning of digital, because I was back and also shooting slides back in the film days too when I was doing photography. Because then photography came like just like stand-up. Like we had like maybe 30 photographers at a red carpet event or something. But as soon as digital happened, then it'd be like 80 photographers at the same thing, everybody taking the same picture.
Wow.
No,
Great.
photography went off the hook too. When we were shooting film and shooting slides, there wasn't that many because you had to kind of know what you were doing. But with digital, you take pictures. If you look at it. If it sucks, then you take another one. Then
Made
you
it
learn how to do it.
Made it easier, right? Is that what you're saying? It
Yep.
made it. So
Just
now,
like, pardon me, go ahead.
so now you do voiceover. Tell me about that switch.
No, that's it. That's it too. I'm just learning a whole new thing right now because I have a voice that nobody, I mean, I have kind of a unique voice. I'm a
Yes.
niche voice. I'm not your regular voiceover guy that's going to get all the type of voiceover commercials because I'm a niche. I'm more of a I've got a character voice. So that being said, I mean, for years in stand up, people do impressions of me. Everybody did a Jimmy Celeste impression. One time or another, people would know a Jimmy Celeste impression, would try to do it. And people like said, why aren't you doing voiceovers? Why aren't you doing voiceovers? And that's like 30 years ago in New York, somebody said, do voiceover. So I called some voiceover in and I said, okay, try to take some classes. And like a guy that was teaching the class goes, no, you don't have a voiceover voice. No, that's what he told me. And this was back when there was like 15 people doing voiceovers. So then, I said, oh, well, I ain't got a voiceover. Then a few years later, I took a commercial class and I asked the commercial teachers, do you think I should do voiceovers? No, you don't have a voiceover voice. So I just did. Then, like when photography is when I decided, look, I'm going to take a voiceover class and see what I got, see if I can do it. And I can do it. I mean, my voice is, I can read copy. But that's the whole thing. It's not having a good voice, not having a voice, learning how to read copy.
Like, what do you mean?
Learning how to interpret copy. Like you might say, I took a long walk, or I took a long walk, or I took a long walk. Just learning how to say the kind of walk you took, knowing the copy's all about. It's learning how to interpret everything. That's what I'm learning now because I got voice coaches, voiceover teachers that I'm studying with all the time. And I just finished a big direct marketing course to learn how to direct market myself because there's other things for voiceovers rather than commercials on TV. There's explainer videos, audio books, e-learning, little ads on telephone, just everything there's voices for. So what
Nice.
I'm trying to shoot for, because I'm also SAG too, so most of the work is non-union now also. So what I'm shooting for mostly is like explainer videos and stuff like that are animated or cartoons and animated. So just have to find my niche and just find something to do it. But it's an expensive process because you got to make demos, you got to take classes, you got to do this. I mean, there's a lot to learn. It's
And
not
you're
just
enjoying it?
pardon me?
You're enjoying the ride?
Yeah, I am. I really am because it's something new. Because I have I can record at home. I have a little studio here. I can record everything at home, send it out MP3s. You can. That's how it is now. You can do everything at home.
Yeah. It's a perfect time for a pandemic.
Even before the pandemic, more people are doing it now, but you can do stuff at home now.
Yeah,
And like also what I'm doing, I just set up a thing that I'm going to start doing live streaming too, like you're doing with this new software. I'm going to start live streaming that I can simultaneously live stream to YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and start promoting voiceover work and stuff like that. And just being me,
yes.
there's a
That's
lot of stuff to do still.
yes. Every day there's something new that they come up with. And there are 14 ways to slice a piece of bread,
Yep. But it's kind of it's a miraculous time we're in right now because we can still do stuff.
Yes. We're so lucky, actually. I mean, you're in the middle of the pandemic crisis in New York,
Yeah.
and that's no joke. But, we have running water and electricity,
Yeah.
if
You know,
nothing.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, but I mean, how has the pandemic been for you and your family and friends? Have you
I
had
mean, I'll talk to people on the phone and stuff. Like I'll do Zoom meetings and stuff like that. And I have two dogs too, so I take them out all the time. So I'm always walking around. I mean, it's not really affecting me that much. I still go to the grocery store, walk the dogs. The only
what
thing I
kind of
don't get to,
dogs do you have?
I got a Shih Tzu poodle and a Shepherd Border Collie.
Oh, wow. What color is the Shepherd Border Collie?
She
Brown?
looks like a little miniature shepherd. No, she looks exactly like a little shepherd miniature though.
How cute. Yeah. So you get out, so it hasn't really affected you to where you stay inside and never go out. You get
Yeah,
out.
some people do, but I mean, I'll go to the store, I go to Trader Joe's and buy food. I'll go, I do pretty much what I used to do and order shit online, the bane of my existence, making me spending money that I don't have.
Yes. I bought a computer so that at first I was doing Zoom on my laptop, and then I was taking my iPhone and copying it off and putting it onto Facebook Live that way. And it was horrible audio and video. I mean, if you're a photographer, it's like taking a picture of a picture or a video of a video.
Yeah,
And so now I've got one computer that does it all, and I'm in heaven.
that's good. Well, I just got this new program called Ecamm, where it's live broadcasting, where I can live broadcast. I can put green screen behind me. I got all kinds of different, like I have green screen, so I can pull that up, and I can do a lot of different things.
Nice.
can
What's
do-
it called again?
It's called Ecamm, Ecamm. It's for live streaming, and you can bring Skype into it instead of Zoom. Like it's not really working that well with Zoom right now, but Skype it works. So you can like bring like 4 or 5 people into your show.
Wonderful.
Like I'm going to do a show. I don't really know what it's going to be about yet, but I'm just decided to call it. My name is Jimi Celeste, and this is my show.
I saw that on your bio.
So that's what I'm going to name it.
I
I
love
haven't
that.
come up with another name yet. If I think
I
of
love
another
that.
name between now and then, I'll put that up. But I think that's a good enough name.
I think that's wonderful. It would make me want to watch it.
Yeah, so I'm just going to talk about, just talk about stuff. I don't know what I'm going to, if I don't have a green screen, I'm going to, because I also vlog too. I can walk around the streets talking to my camera, vlog with microphones. Because I got good, besides my phone, I also got real cameras that I can walk around and vlog with. So I'll do that, and I can put the video into my video online. I can drag that in or just shoot video and use that as background, green screen background, There's a lot of different things I can do with this program. It's pretty, plus you can put headers, you can put your running name underneath you and things like that. And I just got like that PayPal me QR code so I can shamelessly plug myself and tell people to give me money.
Nice. Well, we got to make money, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's things to do.
Yeah.
Like this direct marketing thing, I've just learned how, like with Google Maps, I can find every production company in the country and then go and find out who to email, who's the owner of the company, who to email, send them my demo for voiceover and just try to get work.
Very good.
There's also pay-per-play sites that you can join. It costs like the one I'm on now costs like $500 a year, but they send you auditions and you just like send out auditions with everybody else.
There you go. Well, let's say the pandemic is over tonight at, say, 11 o'clock your time tonight, and you can go do something you really have wanted to do for a couple months. What would that be?
I don't know. Probably would
You're kind of doing everything that you want to do.
yeah, I do it like if it was in the daytime, then I'd go hang out with friends of mine stuff.
Yeah.
I got a lot of friends at the Apple stores. I'd go hang out with them and I'd go hang out with people in the park, be able to go to the dog run again,
Yeah.
Things like that. But I wouldn't really, it's not affecting me like that. Go out to maybe someplace to eat and sit down.
Yes.
'Cause
I went to Denny's today, and they'll let you sit like every fourth table you can sit down. It's not quite the same, but
I wish I had Denny's in New York.
there's no Denny's in New York.
No Denny's.
Wow. You can get a $4 breakfast, Jimmy.
I know that. I know. I know
Yeah.
about Denny's. I love Denny's, but we don't have any Denny's in New York.
That's too bad. But you have
No.
all those good home cooked meals that every single group of people make. I mean, the food in New York. Wow.
I just go to Trader Joe's. I love Trader Joe's.
You know what I liked about Trader Joe's is you can get little tiny boxes of food. You don't have to buy it. It's not, it's the opposite of Costco. You can go
Yeah,
in
you
and
get,
get,
you can get one meal at a time. If I
yeah,
was cooking it by myself, then I would overcook it, and then I would eat, leftovers. Trader Joe's just one meal at a time.
that's it.
That's what I like about it. See,
Me
we
too.
don't have Costco in New York.
Is that right?
Not in Manhattan. I think there's Costco's in the Bronx and Brooklyn, something like that. I think there's Costco's, but not in Manhattan.
Yeah.
And there's no Walmart's either.
I'll be darned.
Not
Wow.
in Manhattan. I think there's a Walmart somewhere outside of Manhattan, maybe Long Island, but none in Manhattan. I've never been to a Walmart. I've never been to a Costco in my life.
Wow. Holy
I
Toledo.
know.
Wow. You're just a joy to talk to, and the experience that you bring to the table, and to be able to get to talk to you for this long, Jimmy. Oh my gosh, I'm so delighted to get to interview you. Thank you
Well,
so
thank you,
much.
Linda.
If I get to New York soon, I'm going to look you up and take you. We'll go find a Denny's, maybe in Jersey.
No, that's probably the thing is how far. But we got diners.
Yes,
We got diners but they're not. They cost a lot more than Denny's.
that's true. But they're worth it. I love all the diners.
Yeah, there's diners, and even those are kind of becoming extinct in Manhattan.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a couple, but not like before.
yeah, man. Well, I hope we pull out of this pandemic and get back to
No, we
business.
will. We'll be back to normal. It's okay.
Yeah, you're strong. You can make it, right?
Yeah.
Are we all in this together?
Yep, we're all in this together. No, it's not no thing. I ain't afraid of these motherfuckers. you know, we'll get through like the famous Bernie Mac. I ain't afraid of these motherfuckers. I ain't afraid of you motherfuckers.
The
Yeah,
other night, I went for a walk on the Vegas Strip, and there were tweakers on both sides of the street. So I walked down the median in the middle of this. There's no traffic. I was in the middle of the median walking, and a policeman stopped me and said that I couldn't jaywalk. I said, I'm not jaywalking. I'm walking in the middle. You better check your law book. And so he says, well, you can't be in the middle of the street. And I go, fair point. And he goes, why are you in the middle? I said, because there's tweakers over there and tweakers over there, and I'm scared. And he goes, then you should stay home. And I got home and I thought about it. I thought, well, how's that working for you, Mr. Policeman? You're probably scared to death in a pandemic if you weren't before. You have to face fear every day. Do you stay at home? No.
I know. See,
Whatever.
in New York, there's people walking around at night. I mean, I walk the dogs like at 4 or 5 in the morning, but I'm in a very safe neighborhood too.
Yes.
I'm in Soho, and this is a pretty safe neighborhood, but still, if this goes on, it's going to start getting like the purge out there, probably
Yes.
all over the country.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm not really worried about it that much. I mean, we got police in the neighborhood. I'm walking around at night. I got my dogs with me, even though they're not that scary. The big one barks, but she's like old. And the little one, he's a tough one, but he ain't gonna do anything. If
Yeah.
something happens, I think he'll jump into action, but who knows? He's little, but he's tough.
That's good. Well, where I live, we have the worst tweakers possible. They're scary outside on the street, right where I'm at.
What are tweakers?
They're like people that yell at thin air.
Oh,
They've
like
taken
homeless people?
worse than you can believe. It's like anybody who's not in their right mind, like the government never took care of them.
Okay, those
They're
kind
not
of
taking
people.
any meds, and they need to. They're seeing things, hearing things, and it's coming out their mouth.
And we got the homeless people like that here.
Yeah. It's like they're running amok. And it used to be in Vegas that when there were tourists, then it kept tweakers at bay. But right now the tweakers are taking over the neighborhood, and there's no police. And the policeman was thinking I was the problem last night.
I
And
know.
I was,
Also, too, in Vegas, though, is it's nice weather there, so that's where they'll gravitate to. That's where you'll get them most because it's not cold and freezing like New York. New York, and I mean, we got them here, but it's not like. And right now, they can't. The subways were home to them late at night, but now the subways are shut down from 1 to 5 in the morning, so they can clean the subways.
I don't mind
Now, a lot of my pardon me.
I don't mind the homeless. It's just if anybody's a tweaker, they scare me and I want to go in the middle of the median and
Oh, yeah,
walk
I'd be scared too,
because I just don't know what they're going to
because you don't
do.
know what's going to happen. A lot
Yeah.
of my San Francisco friends, comedian friends, are now in Las Vegas. They moved to Vegas,
Really, who are your friends?
like Stephen Pearl.
I love Stephen. He's the reason I'm in Vegas.
Stephen Pearl, I started with him in San Francisco.
I wondered.
Mark Pitta, he just moved there. But Steve Kravitz, I don't know, he's not really working that much, but he's another one too. But Pearl was somebody that I started out with in San Francisco. We both got there about the same time.
Yeah, when I looked at your bio, I thought, I wonder if you know Stephen Pearl.
No, Stephen's great. I love Stephen Pearl.
He's for real. He's a mensch.
I've known him for like shit, 40 years maybe,
I
50
came
years.
I came out here for his birthday party and he introduced me to everybody over at the Tropicana. And I was like, why am I living in Portland, Oregon? I'm moving to Vegas. Forget it.
Yeah, well, Vegas is got a good comedy scene, I guess.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know about open mics and everything. I don't know, probably do that there, but
Yeah, they've got good open mics. And I mean, the
you have to
quality
bring,
of the
what if
comedy
they-
here.
pardon me?
You've got people here that are hosting open mics with 30 years experience, people that are, hosting over at Brad Garrett's that have 30, 40 years hosting,
Yeah.
and you got so much great talent out here.
And I bet, and I imagine too, the comedians don't have to bring people to the shows.
No.
You just sign up and get to go on, I imagine, because you got the tourists there and you got a
Yeah.
lot of people there that'll go to the shows. Whereas in New York, you said we got a bunch of people want to open up clubs and do things, but you got to buy a drink, you got to bring people, you got bringers and this. In Vegas, you probably just like old times, we just sign up and go up.
That's right.
And then-
Like the comedy that I do fell on deaf ears in my hometown of Portland, Oregon, because it was the young crowd. Here, people come to Vegas to be entertained, and the same stuff that I did in Portland gets such a better reaction here.
Yeah, imagine I think Vegas would be a good place.
Yeah, I'm loving it here.
That's why Steven moved there. Mark Pitta, you'll eventually probably get to see him sometime because Mark Pitta was, Mark Pitta's he's done Carson several times, and Mark Pitta is like one of the main comedians from the San Francisco days.
I'm telling you, just
You know?
doing these interviews for a couple of months, it's so humbling, all the talent that's out there, all the experience.
Yep. Then you got all the old school people too, like the old comics.
Yes.
Because you got like Vegas, because Atlantic City's dead. You don't have nothing in Atlantic City.
No.
No, Vegas is probably a pretty good place. But Vegas also has you could probably make a living doing stand up in Vegas.
A lot of them do.
Yeah, you can eventually just cut your chops and you could probably start making a living in Vegas doing stand up without leaving Vegas.
Yeah. That's
Like
exactly.
Boston, you can make a living doing stand up without leaving Boston. Like the main core of Boston comedians have never left.
Wow.
And some of them are some of the funniest people in the country. I mean, there's great comedians in Boston.
Isn't it humbling when you meet all this great talent? I mean, you've been around the business. Don't you get floored every once in a while by all the experience?
There's some comedians like from the Boston. There's not that many comedians that make me laugh anymore, though. Not really that many people that I find that funny. Like what I find, I watch Norm Macdonald a lot on YouTube. Norm Macdonald makes me laugh. Bill Burr makes me laugh. Trying to think, there's not that many people that really make me laugh. What's call it? I can't think of his name, so right on the tip of my tongue. I think Gary, not Gary, well, Gary Shandling maybe not, but this is a guy that's around right now. Gary, trying to think of his name right now. It's right on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, I can't pull up his name right now. But he's been on Conan a lot and everything. But he's funny. I mean, anyway, but then there's a lot of
Conan's funny.
who?
Who did you say is funny?
Gary, I can't, his name's last name's right on the tip of my tongue.
Vider?
What? No, he's a New York guy.
Tom Cotter?
Tom Carter's funny.
I know, Gary Goldman.
Yeah, Gary Goldman. That's what I'm thinking of.
That guy.
He's funny. He's like a really nice guy because his wife's a good friend of mine too.
Wow.
And he's very funny. I mean, he's like one of the funny people that makes me laugh.
Yes.
I don't really watch that many other comedians. I'll watch, like, there's a lot of comedians that are big that don't make me laugh.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't understand how they've gotten as famous as they are. And, you know, like some of the people, I'm not going to mention names now, but some of the people that I've worked with that I don't understand how and there's like some of the biggest comedians in the country.
Exactly.
You know, like, then I got another really good friend of mine, Colin Quinn's a good friend of mine. And he's like, I mean, Colin Quinn's just Colin Quinn. Like, you know, he's great at what he does. Jon Stewart's a great stand-up. Jon Stewart is in fact, a little story.
Smart.
I gave Jon Stewart, I think, his first paid comedy gig in New York.
Oh my gosh.
At this one-nighter that I booked in the Village.
Wow.
You know? And he's gone on to better things, I guess. Well, no,
Yeah.
Jon Stewart's a good stand-up. Chappelle's a great stand-up. There's this comedian in New York, Greer Barnes. He hasn't hit big, but he's one of the best stand-ups in the country, I think.
He did
Greer-
he did comedy at Madison Square Garden for
He
30
opened for Louis C.K. And Louis is an old friend of mine. I've known Louis for years.
Wow.
You know, and like people like that, like every time I've seen him, have always been like really nice to me. Like Jon Stewart, every time he'd see me on red carpet, he'd always come over to me and just hang out with me. I mean, like always, like, you know, just, you know, like very nice all the time. He's very, very nice. Same
Yeah.
with Louis. I mean, there's a lot of, Robin was like that, really nice too. People that I've known for years. But, you know, I'm not doing it anymore, but I've just got to start building my own scene and doing what I want. And it's not impossible. I mean, I can do it again.
Yeah, that's right.
But, you know, it's just, you just got to figure out what your niche is.
That's right. This
Because I can
field,
voiceovers and everything. I've got a voice that nobody else has. I mean, I'm not the voice that's going to get all the work, but then I have this voice that, you know, I can just be cool. Like, because that's what my handle is, the coolest voice in the room.
wow.
Like, you know, nothing's impossible now.
No.
Like, as far as comedians now, I don't really watch that many new comedians. I don't really know a lot of the new guys.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying that they're not funny, but they're not doing anything that I haven't seen before. You know, there's a few of you, like Patrice O'Neill was one of the original. I mean, people that do things that, you know, Chappelle does things that, you know, you don't think about, that, you know, he goes over boundaries and stuff. He takes chances. Bill Burr, I think, is one of the funniest comedians right now. You know, Joe Rogan has found his, maybe not as a stand-up, but he found his niche with his show. He's got probably the biggest podcast in the world. And Mark
Yes.
Maron too. Mark has been a good friend of mine for a long time. And he's having a rough time right now because his girlfriend, wife passed away, Lynn. So I just texted him the other day because Mark's like another guy that he found his niche. He's the reason that comedians are doing podcasts. Mark
Wow.
Maron's the original podcast. As far as, because no comedians are doing podcasts until Mark Maron hit it.
I didn't know that.
There was no comedian podcast until Mark Maron was doing WTF. Because this was in the very infant stages of podcasting. Nobody's really doing podcasts anywhere.
Wow.
And Mark Maron has probably gotten the most impressive list of guests of anybody.
Wow.
I mean, he's had Obama. Obama's been on his podcast. He's had Keith Richards on his podcast. He had Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio together on his podcast. I mean, Rogan brings on some big names, but he doesn't get the kind of names that Mark Maron has gotten.
Wow.
Rogan is starting to actually, I can't say it, Rogan is starting to actually get, but on this other side of the coin, I can't really watch podcasts. They kind of bore me. I
Yeah,
can't listen to stuff. I'm a visual person.
me too. Yeah.
But Joe Rogan's are good because he's visual, but he's too long. I can't watch a 2-hour podcast.
Yeah, it seems like they should have a time limit so everybody knows how long and they're all the same.
Yeah, like Mark's a good friend of mine. I've never been able to listen to any of his podcasts, even when he's had Obama on it and stuff. Even if he's had I can't. But that being said, I need to start listening to podcasts. Because there's entrepreneur people too that I'm really into, like Gary Vaynerchuk and Simon Sinek and people like that are doing. These are things I need to listen to. There's voiceover podcasts. There's a lot of things that I need to listen to.
Wow, you have a bright future regardless of the pandemic because you're staying positive.
Well, yeah, you got to also stay current too. I mean, like TikTok. I'm trying to get into TikTok now because even TikTok is one of the biggest platforms right now for social media.
Yes.
And people like our age, because I'm going to assume you're closer around my age than most of these other people are, like TikTok.
I'm 69 years old.
What?
I'm 69 years old.
I'm 67. So people aren't doing TikTok at our age unless they're just doing stupid stuff. TikTok's a powerful platform. So I put my dogs on there because I did the Myrtle and Mikey show that I used to do on Instagram, where I have this app that I can make their mouths move and talk and everything. So I make them talk with each other.
Wow.
And I edit it, and on my phone, I edit it and then put it up on Instagram. I used to do the Myrtle and Mikey show on Instagram. Now I'm starting to put them on TikTok.
Boy, oh boy.
So Mikey's the asshole. Myrtle's a nice one. Myrtle, fuck you, you suck. And then, no, shut up, Myrtle, you're fucking boring. That's why you can't be on the show. No, Mikey, I'm not in the board. You're fucking boring. Shut up. Oh, why are you so mean to me? I'm an old lady. Okay, come on the fucking show. That's how Mikey is.
Oh my gosh.
But then I do all the voices for them too.
Oh my gosh. That's right. You can do both voices.
Yeah, but I also got a slider I can pitch the voices too, so I can make Myrtle talk high and because I can't talk as high as Myrtle can talk. But that's okay because it's just
My phone keeps going off. Do you hear it going off?
No.
Ugh. Trying to, like you try to silence your phone, but then when somebody beeps, then the phone beeps and it's like, I told you to be quiet. Go to your room.
Mine just buzzes if somebody calls.
Yeah.
I don't answer my phone that much anyway.
I like it to go.
Unless I know who it is.
What?
Unless I know who it is.
Yeah. So you've been a delight and I've been so thrilled to have you on.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you. Anytime you want to announce anything, I'll put you on for 5 to 10 minutes to promote anything you want. Once you're a friend of mine, you're on for life.
Well, thank you, Linda. And if you see Stephen Pearl, tell him that I was on has he ever been on your show?
I have him on as a regular. He does the Tony Bennett hand thing.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, tell Stephen I said hi when you see him.
I'll tell him. I will do that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I think of you as comedy royalty.
No, I'm not. Stephen Pearl's more comedy royalty because Stephen stayed in the game for a long time and he's still doing great.
Yep. Yeah. He is too.
Vegas was a perfect fit for Stephen because he has the most esoteric shit that nobody will get anywhere except people in Vegas.
Yes. He is so crazy. Isn't he crazy?
Yeah. But he has like Fred Murray jokes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Nobody would understand, Corey Amsterdam jokes and shit. Nobody, knows who the hell he is. Who the fuck's Fred Murray? Ethel Mertz. Who the fuck's Ethel Mertz? And he'll throw that shit out there all over the place. In Vegas, people understand that.
Yes, they do. Well, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much.
And I'll post all the bio information about you. And if any of it is not accurate, let me know.
No,
And
it's accurate what you put up, so no worries.
thank you so much, Jimmy. You're a doll. If I get to New York, we're going to go have a diner dinner.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you. Have a wonderful night.
Go get him, Jimmy. Love you.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Everybody's talking.